These are real teeth from the largest shark ever to roam the earth, Megalodon. But to get them, we had to travel over 30 miles offshore from Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, down to 100 feet to what are called the Meg Ledges. And this trip does not disappoint. Over the next 2 days, I'll be diving with friends Mark, Jeff, and Dave. Oh, and these are Captains Chris and Brett, owners of WB Diving and Meg Tooth experts. After an hour and 45-minute ride, we reach our first dive site, and Captain Chris gives us a safety briefing on how everything works before we gear up and hit the water. Here you can see Dave down in front of me with his back mount Optima rebreather. I'm on the chest mount version, but these dives can also be done on open circuit. As we make our way to the bottom, I really have no idea what to expect here. I figured for 2 days and 4 dives, coming back with one good tooth of maybe 4 or 5 inches would be great. So that's what I was hoping for. But what I found instead blew my mind. I reached the bottom and started looking for teeth. But I totally didn't see that big one that was right in front of me. Did you? It's okay if you didn't, because in just a second, I find it. I wasn't that excited about it though.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay, so maybe I was a little excited. I mean, after all, it was a 5-inch tooth within the first 5 minutes of the dive. I definitely did not expect that. I drop it in my goodie bag, and a few minutes later, I'm surprised again, another tooth. Now this one's broken, but when it's all cleaned up, it's still really pretty. And I was starting to wonder, am I just getting lucky here, or are there really teeth scattered along the entire bottom like this? Yep, they're everywhere. Check this tooth out, it still has serrations on it. I decided to check in on Dave and see how he's doing. I showed him my bag of teeth. Dave got so excited he accidentally gave me the wrong hand signal for a second. By the way, if you're not a diver, this is what they mean. And check this tooth out. I have no idea what causes that to happen. I find another tooth later on like that too. Okay, the next tooth is massive. This one here is 5.5 inches long. That's actually considered pretty big, and I thought I wouldn't find one bigger than that on this trip. But just wait, on dive 2, I find one even bigger. We're nearing the end of our first dive and heading up for decompression stops. When we're finished with our deco, we surface on the ball, signal the boat that we're okay, and make our way over. I hand Brett my goodie bag, hop on board, and get to relax for a nice 90-minute surface interval. But the surface interval's not that relaxing for Chris and Brett. They actually spend the entire 90 minutes diving new sites to search for more Meg teeth for future trips. And if you're interested in buying one of the teeth they find, check out their website called the Fossil Exchange. When our surface interval's up, Brett helps us with our gear and we hop back in for dive number 2. What's funny about this dive though, is I end up finding my first tooth before I even hit the bottom. Look at that, pretty cool. It's nothing to write home about, but I'll take it. Same with this one. Look at this massive tooth. This ends up being 6.25 inches, which would have been my biggest tooth, but it was broken in half. Speaking of the biggest tooth, here it is. Look at this monster. I could see it from almost 10 feet away as I was approaching it. I knew it had to be huge. A whopping 6 inches long. That's considered a large Meg tooth by anyone's standard. And just a few feet away, another monster tooth. That's insane. I cannot imagine something with teeth that big in the water. After those 2 teeth, I happily made my way back to the line so we could head up for decompression. Here's Jeff showing me one of his teeth. That's a nice find. Okay, time to head up. Are you ready to see a picture of all the teeth I found on day 1? Look at that, it's crazy. I cannot believe I found 59 teeth in 2 dives. Alright, we're starting day 2, and after an amazing first day, I don't really have any expectations. I would be perfectly happy even if I didn't find another tooth. Spoiler alert, that doesn't happen. Once we reach the site, we gear up and hop in. I love the feeling of giants striding off a boat. Never gets old. By the way, I'm combining dives 3 and 4 because I think you've seen me go up and down the rope enough. Alright, my first tooth of this dive was so satisfying to pull off the bottom. Same with this one here, just the way it came out of the sand. And now for the rarest tooth of the trip. This is from an extinct thresher shark. And it's more rare because they were a deep sea species, so their teeth aren't usually found in this shallow water. Okay, so I've had some people ask me about technique, but as you can probably tell, I'm not sure that matters much here. For example, I like to just grab everything resembling a tooth off the bottom as fast as I can. And Dave prefers to relax, take his time, and pick up teeth along the way, which works too. Mark uses a ping pong paddle to gently dust the sand off the bottom, and that worked out well for him. And Jeff likes to blast the sand at Mach Jesus, which definitely works. So whatever method you use, I think you're gonna find plenty of teeth out here. Alright, dive 4 is a wrap, and on the way up, I get to make a new friend. He didn't stick around very long though, and after a while it was just me. All by myself. All my friends were on the boat. I bet Dave missed me though. He worries when I take too long.
Is he ever gonna come up? Is he ever gonna come up?
Alright, deco's up. I break the surface, head to the boat, and climb on board for the last time. And here's a picture of all the teeth I found on day 2. 44 total. That means for the whole trip, I found 103 teeth. That is insane. So if you're interested in finding a whole bunch of Meg teeth, make a trip and get out there. Thanks to WB Diving, and shout out to all my friends for making this such a fun trip. I really enjoyed diving with you guys. Cheers.